Hello, everyone. Welcome back to What About Podcast. And we hope that you're having a great week and you've enjoyed loads and loads of football that have come this week. And we see your comments and your reactions on our videos, and we appreciate it. We want you to continue putting those comments out, um, the good ones and the bad ones. Today, today we'll be starting with the controversy that's currently rocking African football. And that is the biggest story right now is that CAF has stripped Senegal of the 2025 AFCON title and they've awarded it to Morocco. So Morocco have gotten the cup by email. And, and basically, the idea is that CAF has relied on AFCON regulations, Article 82, which says that if a team refuses to play or leaves the ground before the regular end of the match without the authorization of the referee, it is deemed the loser. The team is deemed the loser and they are hence eliminated. And Article 84 then says that a team that breaches Article 82 will lose its match by 3-0 unless the opponent already had a better score when play stopped. So of course, we're all aware of what went down during the final. Senegal walking off the pitch without the authorization of the referee, and of course coming back in the end, and the game proceeded, and they won that game in open play. Brahim Diaz losing the penalty. But a couple of months after this ruling have now come, stripping Senegal of that cup and then, awarding it to Morocco. And there have been reactions on both sides, of course, especially for the Senegalese. There have been resistance, returning medals and returning the cup and all of that. So we're just going to be discussing this point today, and I'll be starting with Brown. What do we know about the situation, and what are your thoughts?
I mean, the situation regarding Senegal and CAF right now, it's, to say the least, a very shameful one, to be honest. And the reason I say that is because before the AFCON, if you recall, there were comments from pundits all over the world talking about how the AFCON is such an important tournament, and then it does not really fall in the class of the European tournaments and all that. And of course, we all came at them to talk about how disrespectful that was and all of these things. But all of these things happening currently is mainly the reason why those comments are even flying around. So it's just shameful to say the least. And when you look at the law, the IFAB law 5.2 that actually describes this particular situation, right? Now, if you go back to that law, of course, I don't want to quote it because it's a lengthy law, but the ultimate definition and meaning of that IFAB law 5.2 that actually gives power to the referees. What in summary that law states is that the referee has the absolute right to decide whether or not to end the game, given the countenance and the rage from the Senegalese team by walking out of the pitch and all of that. All of those things are transpired in that finals, right? The referee has the utmost right to decide whether or not to issue the trophy to the Moroccan team or disqualify the Senegalese team. But the referee did not do that. And it is important to also mention that the reason why this law is there is to give referees power, some kind of power, especially in officiating the games. Now, if you read through that law, right, the referees have the power to make that decision. And whatever that decision is, it has to be respected. But unfortunately, in this particular situation, CAF has changed all of that and interpreted the law to suit what they want. I'll read something out clearly for you. Let me just mention this just so it brings your mind to exactly what I'm saying. Now, if you look at that law 5.2, it says, I'm quoting from Copilot now. If you type this in, IFAB law 5.2, it says that the referee makes decisions to the best of their ability based on the laws of the game, the spirit of the game, and their own opinion. Now, you can go further to read all of that, but I'm not going to all those nitty-gritties. Ultimately, what it means is that whatever decision that is made by the referee has to stand. Now, to come back and tell us that the decision is overturned, a decision that was made by the referee in the game is now overturned. reinterpret the law in a way that favors a certain team, quote unquote. That's why you see people like Sadio Mane coming out to say that there is a lot of corruption going on in CAF. And right now, Senegal is not just fighting for themselves, but they are fighting for the beautiful game of African football and why people come out to watch this game. So it is not just shameful, it is disgraceful. Because yes, does Senegal deserve to be does that decision deserve to go the way of Morocco, given that Senegal are taking that decision in the moment to leave the pitch? Absolutely. But if the referee refused to exercise his right at the time to issue that final to Morocco and then decide to do it retrospectively, then it is no longer the football we want to watch. The fact that that game went on, the referee in his discretion decided to continue with that game, and ultimately Senegal won by 2 goals to 1 in the finals. There is absolutely no reason for this decision to be retracted. So it is a shame that CAF has decided to do this. It is a shame. And if you notice that tournament, there has been complaints, especially in the Moroccan games leading up to the finals. You talk about their game against Nigeria, where fouls that were supposed to be given were not given, all of those decisions. So put all of these things together, and then when you now look at this now retrospectively, it just speaks of shame. And I'm just disgusted that this is happening now. And I hope that ultimately, because Senegal has made a proposition that they will take this case further, they will fight it. They are not just going to sit back, and then they will take this case further. I just hope that at the end of the day, justice is served, and at least the decision of the referee should be upheld. The fact that Senegal has won, they should be the African champions. Otherwise, you stand the risk of seeing teams pulling out of AFCON, and that is not what we want. That is absolutely not what we want. So yeah, shameful one from CAF. Shameful
Mm.
one.
I think that you mentioned two things. One thing which I sort of have two points to make in that regard. You mentioned the IFAB, rule, which is the international part, kind of supports Senegal. I'll just say this before the next person speaks. And on one narrow point, that whatever happens in a game is the referee's decision. The fact that the referee decided not to, the referee knew that he could have declared that game null and void at that point. Because, first of all, Senegal had left the pitch for more than 3 minutes. I think it's the minimum acceptable time. And the referee decides to go on with the game. At that point, this is the referee's decision to continue with the game. But there's also a part of that law that gives the right for, I think it's competition regulations. In this sense, there's IFAB and there's CAF regulations. So CAF regulations is something else, which is where the CAF body, which is what they are leaning towards, saying that, well, yes, we hear that this is the referee's decision. The referee decided to continue with the game, but we have our own regulations based on what has happened in this game, and we are going to apply that regulations. I think that's pretty much where the disparity in opinion is that, well, the referee decided to go on, but you, CAF, you are saying, well, no, we'll leave that aside and then go on with something else. Shola, you want to make some point about this?
I mean, definitely. What I would say is Senegal, they stood up to against injustice in the past. I trust them to do that again. Obviously, you know, when there's Jimmy Carragher just recently posted, like, I said it, something like that on his, I think, Twitter account and stuff like that. And have they've just proven him right, so to say, when he made that ridiculous comment about AFCON. And now they've proven him right. And now we are seeing memes like maybe England should have a World Cup because of that hand of God goal scored by Maradona against them. Like things like that. But what really pained me the most is we could all agree that the AFCON refereeing of the AFCON, this just concluded AFCON 2025, was actually shambolic. And the whole level of injustices that we witnessed also, it was actually shameful. So to me, it's just like painful that CAF we go back in time to reopen that already shameful wound that we were like, okay, at least now we've concluded it, let it be done and dusted and stuff like that. So now reopening that wound is just like so messy and so disgusting, to be honest. I mean, personally, I don't think anything is going to really come out of this. I mean, Morocco, they bullied everybody throughout the tournament. Nothing was done about it. The refereeing was bad during the tournament. So I wouldn't even expect the referee to know the right thing to do, whether to have rendered the match null and void right there, right then. The referee could not read the match. I mean, why would you disallow a goal? Why would you disallow a goal that the Senegal scored just for you to award a soft penalty on the other side? Almost not too long,
Everything like
not too far apart in the dying
the
minute of the game.
the
You could have
referee
just
actually blew the whistle
yes
before the ball
before
even. So
exactly.
everything is
So everything. So that was the reason why, in my opinion, the ref could not. Maybe he has forgotten the rule, or maybe he actually knew the rule, but his guilty conscience will not allow him to say, "I want to render this match null and void," just because the Senegalese players have worked out. And to be honest, to be fair to them, not all of them actually worked out. There was Sadio Mane on the pitch, so the technicality of the law, also in that sense, also does. He says that all of them have to work out, or at least if one person is there, can we consider all of them to have worked out? So to me, I just see this as, I mean, we all saw it, like, like when that thing actually happened in the final. Oh, it's like it rubbed off badly on football as a whole, on AFCON as a whole. So I felt, like half obviously they need to do something about this, because also you also have to prevent something like this from happening in the future, right? But since they already came back, the penalty that was awarded, I mean, that beautiful Panenka was played. It was already it was already caught. And then Senegal then went on to win. I mean, maybe they should have just put out a statement. This will not be tolerated again. If anybody walks out, this will be applied and stuff. Just allow this one to pass this time around and stuff like that. But now trying to come back and say we award the trophy to Morocco, it's already giving politics, it's giving some things that the fans are not aware of. It's giving some, like, and there are rumors coming out from social media that, Morocco, they have like this world class stadium. It's not a fluke, like they'll be hosting World Cup very soon. It's not a fluke that most of the big tournaments in Africa is going to them. So perhaps this is the time for other African nations to step up. Perhaps Nigeria, I mean, giant of Africa, for crying out loud, step up, host host this competition. I mean, just imagine the one that's going to happen in 2026, 2027. It's going to be hosted by three nations. I mean, there's nothing wrong in being hosted by three nations, but I believe it is because I believe it is also due to lack of proper infrastructure in one country to actually chest up and host it. That's why three nations are now teaming up to
Yeah.
host this. So this is just like a wake up call to other African nations. If we love football, obviously we love football. Football is a beautiful sport. You see the level, the level of quality that Cape Verde they are producing, DRC. We are not even all these old Nigeria. If Nigeria does not, you will collect. If you collect money, you go chop up. So it's not like because we are giants of Africa, because we are super eagles, you could just win. No, like there are the crops of players that are coming out now from all of the African nations, like top quality, all of them playing in top leagues and stuff like that. So the governments now, this is just for me to enjoy the governments of the nation too. The sports federations of each of the nation, they should invest properly in the necessary infrastructure so that one African nation does not hold everyone and say that you have to just do what you just have to do something like this for me, or else I'm going to pull out. I will not host this one again. And we have seen that traces. We've seen like signs like this. There are still some fans in Morocco that are still being in the court of law, facing some sort of I don't know travesty kind of judgment. Senegalese fans, just because I don't know what happened. Maybe they said they caused trouble and the stuff like that. So we still have like some of those things. We have really ridiculous things. People have imagine that the competition has ended and some people have not been able to go back to their countries and being held in the court of like in prison or in whatever. So please, African nations, step up, increase the infrastructure, and then there is nobody that is going to say that I don't want to host, and because of that, I won't host, or you give me trophy by fire by force, no, I will not host. That's it's giving that to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's just to add to what you're saying. There's definitely a lot of revisionism going on. So it's
Yeah.
it's more like saying that the game that Chelsea lost against Barcelona, in
That's
that
one.
Champions League.
That Drogba
Oh,
was so vexed.
yeah, we think we should.
Yeah.
Chelsea should actually have proceeded to the final. And I get that that's not a final, but it's like going to the past and
You
digging
know
out
what
a certain
happened?
decision from a referee,
You
and
know
then
we were
negating
watching
anything that goes against the law.
exactly. You know we were watching the Champions League when this news came out. I think it was Fabricio that sort of posted the breaking news, and the first statement that people were saying was like, well, "That can't be
I
impossible."
I was like, what is this?
Yeah, exactly. People were like, "Oh, it's a lie. It can't be. It's impossible." You know, someone even tweeted it, and someone reposted that. "Ah, this is how you know fake news. This is are you dull? How can you post something like
We
this?"
were not even aware that there was any court case
Exactly.
or
So just
anything.
for me to actually go
What's
online,
this?
check go.com, check Fabricio, check CAF, and so that no
This
bigger
is
news be this. Wow, it's a
and just just
shameful,
just
shameful.
before AY goes on, I think that you said something about technicality, and I think that this is something that will be very interesting to look at. The
Yeah.
CAF regulation does not particularly say X number of players must be off the pitch. It just says that there's a refusal to play, of which Mane and I think it was what's his name now? This Everton player, um, Ghana Idrissa Ganagay. Yes,
Yeah.
both of them remaining on the pitch is an indication that they actually want to play. So I will see. We will see how this technicality plays out. Morisepe, or what's this man's name now? Also went Mosepe, yes, the CAF
Yeah.
CAF president said that there was no special treatment for Morocco. All 54
Oh,
members must be
it was
treated. Yes,
visible to the blind.
he said it
It
in
was
this
it was visible to the blind.
that there was no special treatment for Morocco. All 54 are members of the association.
What do we expect him
Everybody.
to say before anyway?
And he
Of
now
That's the
said
course.
question. Yeah.
Senegal has every right to appeal to the International Court of Arbitration for Sports if they disagree with the ruling. Anyway,
Of course, sorry, anyway, that's one thing I like about court at times. I mean, it took 2 months for you to say, okay, Morocco are now the winner. Who knows? Maybe this one too can drag for the next 4 months. Before you know it, at least Senegal will still be enjoying their trophy. Before you know it, the next AFCON has even come. So I take solace in that
did
because
you
I
even
feel like eventually they will give the trophy to Morocco. But at least I can take solace in the fact that Senegal will put up a fight just like they put up their feet also
see
in that AFCON final.
the
But
court?
but speaking of sorry to interject, speaking of giving back the trophy to Morocco, I don't think any of those Moroccan players would want to win a trophy like this. Honestly,
I think they don't mind though because I saw a video of Brian Diaz. I don't know if it was true. I don't know if he was actually reacting to that news where he was actually happy why just Danny just broke out. So I don't know if like those two events are connected. But you know, if you are a sports person, I don't think you would mind because indeed you feel like we all felt it in that final that this doesn't seem right. And
mm-hmm.
you can't just walk out regardless of
Right.
how. I mean, we were sort of happy in one way because you know, like we could see like this injustices have been just too much. Like we were sort of happy, but at the same time we felt like, oh, maybe this is not the best thing to do. Just walking out, maybe just to remain on the pitch, but not like everybody walking out and telling everybody to walk out. So I think in that sense, Morocco probably have a case. You know, like it's like the whole everything it was already like messed up, like to be out for like 15 minutes. You know, just to come back to play that penalty. I mean, yeah,
It was quite unnatural for that to happen. The team stayed up.
exactly.
It's not as if
But
there was an
according
pitch. So
according to the law, the referees has the discretion to whether or not stop the game. But the fact that he didn't do that at the time, I don't see why this is even a conversation after two
You know,
months.
again, this is I feel like this has like an undertone of politics.
Of course, of
Like
course,
yeah,
of course.
because I mean Morocco lost that WAFCON. Also, some shambolic refereeing. Also, like perhaps Nigeria shouldn't have gotten that penalty and stuff like that. So, of course, they were paying from that just for the men one too, for them to experience such, you know. I mean, it was a good game.
Yeah.
I just wish the referee would just allow them
Allow
to
the game
play.
to flow.
Both of them, they were ready. Like you could see, Mazarawi was like he rose up to the occasion, right? Hakimi was up there. I mean, Morocco have like you guys have like fantastic players. You don't need like referee help
Exactly.
for anything. So I
Let's
I don't even think the
let's
players
let's
mind.
oh,
I feel like
oh,
it's like the referee. Maybe they've received some informal instruction, like you know what,
Yeah,
like do
yeah.
something about this. So just they were just too hasty to blow whistle. They were just
mhm.
too hasty.
Let's get AY's thoughts on this story.
I've been listening to you guys talk back and forth since morning. But my own opinion is it's for lack of a better word, I would say it's very stupid from CAF. Because it's just no, it just tells the whole world that any African country can do anyhow they want to do, can behave anyhow they want to behave, as long as they go on to win the tournament. This is a Moroccan team that throughout throughout the competition from game week 1 till the final, there was one controversy or the other. There was the issue of the ball boy.
Cameroon.
There was the towel incident. There was the fact that decisions were not were made in their favor. So many incidents, but they chose to overlook all of this and decided to still give them the trophy. To me, it just passes one message: as long as you are the host nation, you can do anyhow you want to do. You can behave
No
anyhow you want to.
consequence.
No consequence. And I'll still tell you, they remember they find some of these players. They find the players. They find the country when the tournament
Also
ended.
the manager.
Now they've reduced the fine. So what does that tell you? The ball boys incident, they reduced it from either $100,000 to 50,000. The use of lasers from 50,000 to 10,000. So what are you trying to tell host nations that okay, as you can do anyhow you want, you can behave anyhow you behave, as long as you win the trophy. Secondly, that final, the referee was on the pitch. Are you saying that the referee did not know what to do? Are you saying that the referee did not go through the right training to know that okay, this rule will actually take effect if they choose to walk off the pitch? Not just the referee, the referee was there. The CAF president was there.
The
FIFA
FIFA president
president
was
was
there.
there.
Algerian FA
They
have become um,
they were all seated.
the Senegalese FA president was there. They were
They
all
were
there.
all there. And remember, we said this immediately the match ended when we were doing our analysis that their reaction when they were giving the awards, it wasn't showing like they were happy with Senegal. It was so
Of
obvious
course not.
when they were
Yeah.
shaking the players, when they were we spoke about that woman that she not even know where to stand. She was just going to and fro. So you will know that from the onset,
They already knew. They
they
already knew
they are
then and
exactly
then
they
that they are
actually
collecting
know,
this thing
okay,
back in two
we
months.
want this team to win. The same way
Exactly.
we always say that referees don't have soft spots for teams. Referees have soft spots for teams. The same way organizers of competitions already know that okay, we want Morocco to win this tournament. And another thing is, fine, we also gave them the accolades after the tournament. Their infrastructure, their
They
their
have
their, infra-
they take nothing away from their football. Oh. They actually
their,
played very
infra,
well.
Yes,
their
they played well.
infrastructure their infrastructure is perfect. I was having a conversation with was it Shola this afternoon about the fact that when Nigeria won Morocco, the female, they dragged both the ref and Nigeria to court. So what
Yeah.
is it about
They
Morocco
are
and not
sore
and not
losers.
and not accepting defeat? Now, talking about their infrastructure, fine, we know that after under 17 AFCON, they will be the one to host it this year. Women's AFCON again, 2026, they will most likely be the one to host it. 2030 World Cup, they will most likely be the one to co-host it. So that means people are just trying to, okay, please them. Let's give them what they want so
And
that,
Maybe
that's why other African nations should
because they
step up.
also have the best infrastructure in Africa, which is
Yeah.
why every other country has to stand up and spend money rightly. Because
Yes.
you cannot be better than them, and you are complaining that everything is going to them.
Exactly.
of course. So, because why on earth would you 58 days after people that have even won the tournament have forgotten that they won the tournament? Players that lost the tournament have forgotten that they've lost, because
They are
most of
playing
them are already
Champions League
back.
already.
They're already back at their clubs, trying to continue their own league games. But you now decided that, okay, 58 days after that, okay, it just shows how it's like you're just parading the whole Africa as a nation that you can just react anyhow to.
Do any
I won't blame coaches of football teams when next there's an AFCON and they tell their players not to go, because they will like, what's the essence of going when, if you choose to go and you get injured, they can easily award the trophy to another team. So to me, it does not make sense. And finally, we know our winners. Even if they eventually decide to give Morocco, we know our winner. We know that, okay, Senegal is actually the team that won the AFCON. We know that did they deserve it? Yes. Did Morocco? It's like something that you should be ashamed of as a Moroccan player, to say that, I beg, we don't want to associate with this your corruption. Give them Senegal. They deserve it. They deserve it, and it's meant to be theirs. But of course, Shola said about Brahim Diaz. They were playing their game. They were playing their game while he saw the news. Of course, it was related. He was so happy. So one, they are sore losers. Which also take us back to why some people were saying he intentionally lost the penalty. If he intentionally lost the penalty, he won't be happy with the news when it came out, or when he
place
broke the first.
that got that penalty and maybe Senegal equalized. I don't know, maybe the story will be different today, but I don't know, whatever. I also saw a club that actually, I thought it was, I don't know, I thought it was shameful of that club. They took the picture of their Moroccan player and they posted, "Congratulations on winning the AFCON title." Which
No,
club
it's
was?
it's it's Bayer Leverkusen. They can be
Yes.
funny. They
And
just
I'm
like
like,
admin.
you
Just
people can never
admin.
wait for Senegal
No,
is going
it's just
out.
like me. It's just the admin. Like messing
Chasing
up,
clouds.
Yeah, I'm
chasing
like,
class. Yeah.
Senegal will go to court. Just wait it out before you start posting congratulations on your.
It's
I thought it
this
was
is
very funny.
this same admin was posting the corner
Weekend
flag of
Ateta
Arsenal.
now.
The corner
Yeah.
flag of Arsenal.
Anyway, I think just to speak to what AY said about the fine, I also just looked it up. I saw that Ismail Saibari's fine, which was $100,000, was blotted out. Morocco's ball boy fine was reduced to $50,000. The VAR interference one was left. It remained. The lesser fine incident was reduced to
ten
$10,000.
thousand.
Yes. Why? I mean, these
So
are
you,
in question.
I
you are
mean,
just trying to say
it's
that as
it's
long as
screaming
I'm willing
it's
to pay a
screaming
10,000 fine,
politics.
I can use lasers. As long as I'm willing to pay a 50,000 fine, I can bring as many ball boys to disrupt the game and bring as many towers as they want to remove as many towers as they want. As long as it should be just 10,000. It
Hmm,
doesn't
hmm.
make sense. It doesn't make sense.
To be
If
very honest, this is particularly one of the things I hate as an African. In an European tournament, in the many, many years of our watching football, you would never ever experience a thing like this. Portugal hosted the Euros. At home, they lost.
Hmm.
Portugal won their first Euros playing against a very, very brilliant French team. And France lost in the
Hmm.
finals.
Hmm.
They did not kill anybody.
To be honest,
So, so
I
many
wouldn't.
teams in Europe have hosted tournaments. They have lost.
They could
Greece,
them out of the group stage.
I'm telling you, Greece was the underdog in that tournament when they won in Portugal. But nobody did anything about, like, win your trophy, go home. It was that simple.
Like what I'm just trying to say is, I would expect checks and balances because every organization has the, I don't know, tendency to be to be nepotic in nature. We saw
Right.
how Sepp Blatter had obvious preference for Messi over Cristiano Ronaldo. He
Hmm.
was not
Yeah.
even hiding it. So
Yeah.
if there are no checks and balances, these things can happen, right? These things can actually happen. So that's why I'm actually imploring African nations to actually step up too, because it's obvious. Because to be honest, if somebody is stepping up as a nation, helping the whole continent, you might have soft spot for the person, even as a body, and say, you know what, maybe it's time for them to have this AFCON,
But
even if it's undeserved.
that soft spot is now changing from having a soft spot to poto spot because
It is.
Women's tournament, they
I
disputed
agree.
their loss.
Yeah, I agree.
Men's team, they are disputing their loss. In fact, if Morocco is a co-host of the World Cup and they play their finals in Morocco and they lose, they will still dispute it.
Of
So how
course.
much more soft spot do you want to have? It's now potopoto spot. It now looks like wherever they put their foot, it must stamp and it must remain. Football
As
is
long
not
as
like that. Is
yes.
not what we want in football. That is
So
not
you
what.
two
There is
so you
always
two
bias.
you two
Even in club football, there is bias with referees. But it cannot be this blatant. It cannot be this obvious. It cannot be this consistent and always reoccurring with the same national team. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
I want to end my own on a very light note. So are they saying that people that have won bets that that Senegal will win the AFCON,
They should
that
return the money.
betting companies should go
And
and
people
go
who
and
lost
refund,
that to give
and
them the
people who
money.
lost should go and
I
ask for their money. It doesn't make sense. But anyways,
I mean, just to add on the final note that, of course, there's an argument for Morocco here, right? There's an argument for them because if any decision would have been made in respect of that game, it should have been on field then. But of course, it's possible to go back to the laws and all of that. But
yes.
well, what do we know? We'll see how this plays out in the court, and we'll see who has to. It's a law thing, right? Everybody will bring up their defense
Yeah,
and say, "Oh
yeah.
no, the law does not say this. The law says that," and
but
whatever.
again, if we continue doing that in retrospect, it takes away the value of the referees.
We will
Ultimately,
see.
they
But
will
To me,
not
to
do
be
a
honest,
good for the referee.
this is the first time.
as long as
This is the
justice
first
is
time I
served.
think in men's football that, at least in
Yeah, I'm
Africa,
saying this
that
at
this is
least.
actually happening. So we'll see the outcome of this, and we will see how it
At
goes.
least
But
to be honest, regardless of the sides, as long as justice is served, I'm up for it. I mean, to be honest,
the
like
question
that
is,
precedent too, that
what
we have to
injustice?
nip that thing in the bud too. Like nobody, that means that I could just have like a sense of injustice in the future and just will decide to work out and
So
face no
I
consequence.
agree.
I
I
agree with
agree. I
what you just
agree.
said. You cannot
Find
just
the nation.
have a,
Find the
Yeah,
nation. Take
exactly.
disciplinary
Finding the
actions
balance,
against the
if you are
exactly,
referee
going to
for not implementing the
disqualify
rule.
them from in that game.
Yes.
exactly.
Don't
Find
wait until something
yes.
And
else
which
Take
they've
happens.
sort of
disciplinary action.
which they've sort of done already because they've
Take
already
Mm-hmm.
fined the
disciplinary
coach,
action against the referee for
Papatio.
not implementing the law, the rule. Do
The
that,
referees
and then we move
are
on.
copying as Senegal in this, right?
Of
But
course.
it's a thing of technicality. We'll see what plays out
It
in
is.
court. But
It
I
is.
mean, just subtly saying we know our we know our
I
champions.
mean,
Thank you for your thoughts. For viewers, let's know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you think CAF was right or wrong? Or let's know what your thoughts are. See you on the next one. Have a great day.